I began to take his gentle love for granted, thinking that I had more chances. The Lord has made sure that in every turn of my life, I'm always grounded in his love. He went through great lengths that were at times painful to me just so that I would know that this place is the only thing that I need. I think I got to a place where I started to take his gentle love for granted. He had always been so tender to me. He was my gentle father, and I knew that I had his heart. I felt like I truly spent time in relationship with the Lamb of God. It was innocent, patient, caring, tender. Then one day I met the lion. There's this place in life where we experience the jealousy of God. This jealousy isn't the kind that we experience. It is truly pure in every way. He said to me, Deanna, I am jealous that my children receive all that is theirs to receive. Think of how you feel when you see an injustice happen to someone else. There's this holy fire, this anger, this passion that burns inside of you because you are jealous of what that person deserves that they're not getting. Imagine the holy anger that burns within him when he sees someone love you from a broken place and you believe that it is pure love. Imagine the holy anger that burns within him when he sees someone take something from you and you begin a pattern of life and think this is all life will ever be for you. Imagine what he feels when you live and experience life at anything less than his best for you. He is jealous. I used to read that in the context that he only wanted me to serve him almost in a narcissistic way. But that didn't match the character of God in the Bible. That didn't match the Lamb who I had come into relationship with. His jealousy is giving, and by nature that places us on the receiving end. In the wisdom of God, he understands what placing him as Lord in our lives provides for us. Everything in his nature is giving. For God so loved the world that he gave. Jesus gave his life. What does that say about his heart? What does he feel when we abuse people or take abuse from others and call it love? What does he feel when you don't love who you are, so you take on a version of someone else's picture when who he created is the best version of you? What does he feel when we settle for crumbs, when he actively gives us keys to the kingdom? He is jealous of what belongs to his children. Something robs his children and his anger is kindled. It's a holy anger. I had come to a place in my life when he asked me to let go of something. And because I was used to receiving the gentle love from the Lamb, I waited. I stayed with one foot in, one foot out, thinking, God understands it's taking me a long time to get rid of this, and it's kind of hard on me, and he has grace and he has mercy, so he understands. I didn't release it when he asked me to. The beautiful thing about the Lord is that we always are left with a choice. He will say, let that thing go, but we still have the option to say no. It's freedom based in love. He gave me chance after chance after chance to let it go, over and over in his gentle way. But then I met face to face with holy fear. It was that eye-to-eye stare with a parent that says, I've told you not to touch it. It burns with this intensity and it says, go ahead, I dare you. What I realized was even in the standoff between Father and I still had a choice. This is the first time in my life where I met the jealousy of God. It wasn't obey or else, let it go or else, because I said so, and that was the end of it. What he was saying to me was, trust this. Trust what I'm telling you, because it leads to your wholeness and your fullness. It was a glare from his burning eyes that said, enough, do not touch that again. What I continued to fall to kept me from all that was already mine. This is a holy fear. It's a fear that doesn't want to see what's to come for me on the other side of my arrogance. We think he says, obey or else you'll be punished, but that's human domestication in old covenant lingo. When we do not listen, the result is the absence of fullness, but we think we're being punished. I began to fear being obedient less, not because if I didn't obey that I was going to be punished, but he began to deposit this hunger for obedience within me because I knew that that instruction led to my fullness. What's wild is all of this was based in love. From the glare in his eyes, I saw a fire that said, I want you to experience all that I have planned for you, and what you continue to reach for steals from you. I am jealous that my children have everything that is theirs by birthright. There was this glare I couldn't look away from. He didn't need to explain anything to me. I had met the lion. In that moment, I heard him roar. But even in that roar, all I could feel was love, protection, and pure jealousy. We think that he just fights our battles and that pertains to spiritual warfare, that he's out fighting the enemy on our behalf. He reconciles what was lost, even if that loss is caused by our own hands. Look at the freedom that presents. The option to still say no, rooted in the evidence of how much he loves us. Sometimes his love is gentle, like the lamb, and then other times it's the roar, a fierce roar that says, enough has been taken from you. Sometimes the roar is directed towards the enemy, and then other times we are our own worst enemy.
The audiobook for Unraveled, read by me, is now available on these platforms, coming to more platforms soon.